First name, Mr. Last name, Glass. Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's talk about Glass for a second. Glass. What do I think of Glass? Well, I liked it. I don't honestly know what else to say. I've been hearing from a lot of people that I trust, mostly as far as movie opinions go, and well, most people hate this movie. I don't know why. I really enjoyed this film. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I was not a big fan of Split. I moderately enjoyed Unbreakable, so I wasn't going into this movie with especially high expectations, mostly because of how I felt about the previous movies, and that sort of intensified as soon as I've seen the reviews and seen that not a lot of people were happy with this movie. But yeah, I went in there and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't have any explanation as to why that is. Look, I just did, and I see some of the criticisms that people have about this movie. I get it, but as far as the way the movie treats the audience, that has been the major complaint that I've been hearing from people about this movie. And I gotta be honest, maybe there's a cultural differences between other countries and this, but I kind of felt all of the different points that this movie was trying to convey. Speaking about the comic book fan base and the comic book industry and comic books in general, I felt the movie was doing a very good job with that. So I honestly don't understand why people are being upset by this movie's treatment of the audience and the way it addresses superheroes in general. But I guess I can just chalk it up to maybe a cultural differences. Maybe people in certain other countries perceive these things a little differently than myself and the audience that I saw it with. And the theater was mostly full, and I gotta be honest, people were cheering and clapping when the movie ended. Maybe it could be because they didn't really like the movie themselves and they were happy that it was finally over, but I have a feeling that they were very much blown away by the movie, especially by the ending, which we'll get to in a minute. But I happen to believe that response to that movie, at least in the theater that I was in, was mostly positive. Now, let's talk about the actual movie itself. First of all, I gotta be honest, I'm not gonna go too in-depth as far as plot details and certain things that happen in this movie, because as is probably expected with any M. Night Shyamalan movie, there is always a big major plot twist at the end which changes the entire course of the entire movie. And well, while this is certainly a big part of Glass, there are various other things about this movie that I don't feel 100% comfortable discussing in a spoiler-free environment. Maybe on another video one day in the future I can go a little bit more in depth about what I think about this movie. But for now, let's just talk about the performances. The performances are what sold the movie. I know that a lot of people had problems with a lot of the performances minus James McAvoy, which we will talk about in a second, but I honestly don't have a big problem with all the performances in the movie. I think Bruce Willis did a wonderful job in this movie. He wasn't perfect or anything, but he was actually very good, and I really enjoyed the way he carried himself in the movie. It kind of felt like the character of David Dunn from Unbreakable hasn't missed a step. As far as Samuel L. Jackson, well, Samuel L. Jackson is Samuel L. Jackson. He always has this sort of presence about him. Not just in this movie or this franchise, but in any other place of environment you could find him. He just commands the screen, even if it's for 5 minutes of Coming to America, or if it's in an Avengers movie. He always has this presence about him that it's very hard to replicate. And in Glass, it's especially noticeable, even when he doesn't really have a lot of dialogue for most of the movie. I mean, he doesn't even speak until the halfway point of the movie. And even then, you look at his face and you see the emotion of his eyes and every single detail of his face. It's some parts terrifying and some parts engaging. So I really think Samuel L. Jackson was magnificent in this movie, despite what other people might think. But then we gotta talk about the Beast, the Horde, Kevin Wendell Crumb, whatever you want to call him, James McAvoy. James McAvoy was amazing. I mean, I've heard a lot of really good things about him in Split, so I went in the movie expecting to see it, and I did kind of see some of the stuff that people were talking about, but he didn't exactly move the needle for me as much as I hoped to see from him. That being said, in this movie he outdoes himself. He does the impossible and he outshines himself in a movie with all the multiple different personalities that he's taken over during the movie. And watching the movie, I think this is a perfect movie for a commentary to do, because you can literally see the changes of his face as he becomes a different character, and you literally can tell, oh, this is Kevin, this is Patricia, this is Hedwig, this is the Beast, this is Ewan, and it all happens in this movie. It was amazing. It was a treat for the eyes. It was amazing to watch. We gotta talk a little bit about Sarah Paulson. She was haunting in this movie, and she was very annoying to me personally, and I really hoped that her character and the way it was written and the way she acted her scenes, which are a majority of the movie, ironically, I honestly really hoped that there would be a much deeper meaning to whatever it is she was doing throughout her scenes. And I can say that I was very satisfied with how the character ended up at the end. Obviously, I can't reveal what that is, because it kind of is tied to a very important plot point during the ending of the movie, but let's just say that Sarah Paulson surprised me in this movie, and I was very satisfied with the way her storyline ended. The supporting characters, Anya Taylor-Joy, the kid who played Bruce Willis's son, the woman who played Elijah Price's mother, they were sort of the Infinity War-esque connective tissue that I was really looking forward to seeing this movie, because it is kind of, in a way, similar to Infinity War, different characters from different movies coming together and interacting with each other. And it doesn't really happen, again, no spoilers, it doesn't really happen until a much later point in the movie, but when it does, I think those three characters worked very well together, and I think it was a very satisfying thing. Now, as far as the ending, again, I'm not going to spoil how this movie ended, but it was a definite mind opener to me. I actually ended up staying in the theater, not expecting a post-credit scene or anything. I was just sitting there contemplating and thinking and wondering how the continuation of the story could go and all the different possibilities. I definitely want to see not so much a Glass sequel, but another movie in that particular universe with the ideas set out by this movie. And hopefully that will happen eventually, even though I really doubt it, because not a lot of people were satisfied by this movie, but hey, to each his own, I suppose. So, those are my thoughts on the movie. The plot, you can really feel the budget on this movie. Unfortunately, most of the movie took place in a confined space, as you see in the trailers. It's not a spoiler, by the way. Most of the movie takes place in an asylum with lesser known actors, minus James McAvoy and Sarah Paulson, which those two characters are doing the majority of the heavy lifting as far as screen time and dialogue, and you don't really get to see Sam Jackson or Bruce Willis a lot. So yeah, I think this movie kind of did suffer from a little bit of a budget issue, but it worked for me, and I really hope it works for you guys. Unfortunately, it is apparent that it didn't really work for a lot of other people, which is sad, but that's just a part of the subjectivity of film, and this film in particular. So, what do you guys think of Glass? Am I right? Am I wrong? Well, there is no wrong answer, so I don't know why I just said that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you soon. Hello again, everybody. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, where I do all kinds of weird stuff like showcase all these things, trailer reactions, movie reviews, all kinds of fun stuff. So, until next time, I'll see you guys next time.